Hello?
Welcome to Quays TV News Christmas Special on Friday the 13th of December. I'm Jess Foley. Coming up on today's show, should the high-speed rail be built in Manchester and London concurrently? Also, with the changes in law for gay marriage, we'll be joined by members of the Lesbian and Gay Foundation, and Dick Whittington is back in town and live music from Alice Gasson. But first, with the news updates, it's Lucinda Parker.
Thanks, Jess. Good morning. Today's top stories are: members of the Transport Select Committee, have said that the construction of the HS2 high-speed rail project should begin in Manchester as well as in London. This is so the North can benefit from its effects straight away and provide more jobs for the region. Today is Christmas Jumper Day. Hundreds of people from Salford in the UK will take part wearing old Christmas jumpers. The initiative, organised by the charity Save the Children, aims to demonstrate how wearing festive jumpers and raising money can go hand in hand. Last year, more than £200,000 were raised during the fundraising day. Trafford has officially got the second best primary schools in the country. The ranking published yesterday by the Department for Education shows that only 5 Greater Manchester primary schools are in the bottom 200. A drugs campaigner is set to open a cannabis social club in Manchester. The owner will be Colin Davies, known as the man who handed over a bouquet of flowers containing cannabis to the Queen. He said members of the cannabis club would be invited to bring their own drugs for personal consumption. Gang crime is the worst affected areas has effectively been reduced. Out of the 33 areas for most severe gang crime, 3 are reported to be in Greater Manchester. A programme set up to offer support to these areas has successfully led to the number of murders to fall by 15 to 18. The Home Secretary, Theresa May, said that gang members should be given viable alternatives to their violent and self-destructive way of life. MGF Construction are donating 5 apprenticeships for the engineering students at the University of Salford. MGF have a long-standing relationship with the university, with many graduates joining the company. A special event took place at Media City UK earlier this week for students to show their gratitude.
Today's event basically is doing 2 things. It's basically celebrating the start of a partnership between the University of Salford and MGF.
I'm very, very thankful. I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very grateful. I wish everybody else can do the same as MGF are doing, putting back to the society.
Partnerships like this give not only the university but particularly our department access to industrial experience, some sponsorship money, and it gives us a window onto the northwest.
The Big Chill Swim has begun at Salford Quays. Competitors as old as 60 were told to take off their clothes and attempt to enter the freezing water at 4.6 degrees. Competitors soon began to feel the heat, swimming a gruelling 24 metres, but were rewarded with a hot drink and a sit in the hot tub. Students at the University of Salford organised a Christmas pop-up shop selling their work. The festive shop was held at Peel Park campus and offered handmade gifts, jewellery and Christmas decorations. Students believe the pop-up shop is a great opportunity to develop their business skills. In sport, grassroots football has received £102 million in funding. The Premier League and the FA Facilities Fund will provide financial support from January 2014, and the scheme aims to develop improved pitches and more quality coaching.
Well, we've not got enough coaches when you compare those to Holland, Germany, even America's got a lot of coaches, and the standard of coaches as well, and the way they coach is a massive factor. The way they shout at the players instead of encouraging is a big factor. When I have been over to Holland recently and I've seen grassroots football over there, and the massive thing over there is all the kids play with a smile on their face.
And now here's the weather with Helen Rowe Wilcox.
Today is going to be pretty wet and we have a mainly dry weekend ahead with it extended into the start of next week. This morning will continue to be dry until around lunchtime, with cloud gradually increasing throughout the morning. Temperatures will be quite high at this time of year, reaching highs of 11 degrees. However, the strong winds will make it feel a bitter outside. This afternoon, showers will make up the afternoon's weather heavy, but hopefully short. These move eastwards across the region and should hopefully begin to clear by the time the sun sets and leave a drier, clearer and fresher evening. Saturday is mostly fine with sunny spells at first, winds increasing and the low pressure brings it with a chance of heavy rain. The weather will then remain unsettled and windy with sunny spells and some outbreaks of rain. And now back to Jess for Quays TV Christmas Special.
Thank you so much, Helen. Now, next this morning, it's been announced that the first same-sex marriages will be held next March in England and Wales. Sometime earlier had been originally expected. Jamie Starboyski reports. Jamie who? What's he called? Hello, what's your name, Sean? Apologies for the technical difficulties there. Don't forget that you can catch it all online at quaysnews.net. And now joining me in the studio is Sean Lambert from the Lesbian and Gay Foundation and the University of Manchester. It's socialist M. Temple Maltz. So first of all, talking to you, Sean, what's the significance of relationships such as civil partnerships and marriage? What's the significance?
Well, for same-sex couples, obviously it gives the same legal recognition as heterosexual couples have always enjoyed. The great thing about having equal marriage now is actually the name marriage. It has very special meaning within our society, and for some people that is very important. Also, it does mean that people can be in civil partnerships in this country and go to other countries where marriage would be recognised, their relationship would not be recognised. So it does mean that that they'd be recognised overseas as well. And obviously, it's very exciting for us. It's an issue we've campaigned on, equal marriage, and we're really pleased that that the first same-sex marriages will be taking place from the 29th of March.
So why is the legislation important for both?
For both
civil and
well, we've had civil partnerships since 2004. The legislation was brought in for civil partnerships, and that was a really important step because before that, same-sex couples did not have a way to access the same rights and privileges that heterosexual couples could get through marriage. And obviously, that was a really important step forward for couples to get legal recognition for their relationships. But there is something within society, everyone recognises what a marriage is. It is quite a potent word. So that's why the Lesbian and Gay Foundation has campaigned to have equal marriage, to say, we should be able to choose whether we want to recognise our relationships just through a civil partnership and have all the legal benefits, or whether we have that thing that is called marriage that's very special.
Right, so what's the next step? Has equality been achieved because of this now?
No, I wouldn't say it has been achieved. It depends on how you view equality. It depends on who you're inferring as being implied, who can benefit from equality. There's still a long way to go. There's a lot of people who can't benefit from same-sex couples, and people beyond, you know, kind of lesbian, gay relationships that won't be able to, you know, benefit from this.
So when you did your research, of course, for uni, were you surprised about the fact that most relationships, you know, about those relationships in your findings with the research that you've done and the interviews?
So
were you sort of like shocked by the results that you found with the interviews that you did?
I think what I was expecting, because I interviewed people who were aged between 60 and 35, I kind of had this aspiration that people's relationships with their family, getting, you know, when they were getting married or having a civil partnership, that I was hoping that families would be stronger, pulled together, and that didn't happen. In terms of, you know, just kind of the experiences, there were some surprises, some good things. So people kind of felt, you know, this is a really good thing.
Right, well, that's all we've got time for. But Sian and Em, thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, now an unusual art exhibition showing the connection between birth and arts has been opened in Salford. Nursing and midwifery students at the University of Salford organised the exhibition, which is taking place at the Mary Seacole building. The exhibition examines the philosophy of birth in an artistic way and aims to show how midwifery and art can go hand in hand.
Gives you an expression that is really important. And I think the other aspect as well is when you are pregnant, there is something about that process of creating life that is artistic, and there's no way of getting away from that.
Yeah, it was really helpful. As Judith said before, the midwifery course is very stressful, and it's you're very busy through all the program. You really have to have really good time management. So if you have a moment just to express yourself, and if you enjoy art as me, then it was really nice, you know, fresh breath of air.
Joining me in the studio is Elaine Uppal, the organiser of the exhibition. Thank you for joining us, Elaine. And the first question is, how did you come up with the exhibition and the idea?
We've been working along these lines since 2008. There was an exhibition in Manchester called the Birthrights Collection, and we met with the curator and started to allow the students to interact with the art. As a result of that collaboration, the artwork came to the university, and we've been doing work since then with students, so they actually produce their own artwork now.
So it's obviously something that you've been passionate about for a long time. How did this all start for you?
I think everybody's got an appreciation of art, and the art related to birth is very controversial. Not everybody wants to see that kind of thing in public, but student midwives have unique access to this kind of experience, and women who have babies use art to express their experiences of birth as well. So it's important to have it in the public arena.
And why do you think it's so important to students, exhibitions like this that are available to them?
It gives them the opportunity to see a different side of birth. Birth is becoming very medicalised these days. You know, the caesarean section rate is about 25% now. So it gives them an opportunity to show the normality of birth and to express a natural philosophy of birth, and it also gives them space to think differently about birth as well.
Definitely. And so what are we planning next? What are you planning next for us students?
Well, we started to widen the collaboration with other parts of the university, the arts, health and social care collaboration, and we're also engaging with members of the public. The work's going into our local birth centres, so that we can actually spread the word to the public as well.
Exactly.
And hopefully promote.
Well, hopefully so. Yeah. Thank you so much, Elaine, for joining us today. Thank you. Still to come, we have live music from Alice Gasson, but first here's Lucinda with your latest news updates.
Don't come off it yet.
I've got no friends.
I'm repeating the same. Good morning. Today's top stories are: members of the Transport Select Committee High have said that construction of the HS2 high-speed rail project should begin in Manchester as well as in London. This is so the North can benefit from its effects straight away, as it would provide more and more jobs for the region. Today is Christmas Jumper Day. Hundreds of people from Salford and the UK will take part wearing old Christmas jumpers. The initiative, organised by the charity Save the Children, aims to demonstrate how wearing festive sweaters and raising money can go hand in hand. Last year, more than £200,000 were raised during the fundraising day. Trafford has officially got the second best primary schools in the country. The ranking, published yesterday by the Department for Education, shows that only 5 Greater Manchester primary schools are in the bottom 200. A drugs campaigner is set to open a cannabis social club in Manchester. The owner will be Colin Davies, known as the man who handed over a bouquet of flowers containing cannabis to the Queen. He said members of the cannabis club would be invited to bring their own drugs for personal consumption. Gang crime in the worst affected areas in the UK have effectively been reduced. Out of the 33 areas for the most severe gang crime, 3 are reported to be in Greater Manchester. A programme set up to offer support to these areas has successfully led the number of murders to fall by 15 to 18. The Home Secretary, Theresa May, said that gang members must be given viable alternatives to their violent and self-destructive way of life. And now back to Jess.
Thank you, Lucinda. Now, Christmas is 12 days away and hundreds of people are going to the Manchester city centre to find the right presents for their friends and families. The Manchester Christmas markets are around for another week, and our reporter Marina Haristova finds out just how expensive Christmas is. I don't know how to...
Manchester Christmas markets are one of the biggest attractions in Manchester during the Christmas season. The festive spirit indeed brings the local and international together. Everybody comes here to have some drinks, food and indeed to do some shopping. How much do people spend around Christmas? We will find out now.
I usually spend about £200 and buy lots of clothes and toys and things.
About £500 easily.
Is that for all of the presents or?
Presents and the food, yeah.
Well, there are 4 children plus all the little nieces and nephews. Over 200 easily.
Probably about 1,000. Loads of like beauty products that we would normally spend through the year. Lots of clothes. PlayStation 4. Yeah, and that's it really.
And I usually spend altogether about under £200-ish, I think.
It's Christmas.
Apologies for the technical difficulties once more. If you do want to check out everything that we talk about today on the Christmas special, then head on to the website quaysnews.net. Now for your merry mix of entertainment treats, here's Kate Emery.
Thank you, Jess. Yeah, I'm feeling the Christmassy spirit today, and trending on Twitter is Blue Ivy Carter this morning as she's had her first music debut in one of her mum's music videos. The song is from Beyonce's new album and is entitled Blue in honour of the 1-year-old. Jordan has tweeted in saying Blue Ivy will win a Grammy for Best Feature, and Marquise added, Blue Ivy gets to say she featured on her first track at the age of 1, What Is My Life? But don't worry, Marquise, not many of us have featured in a music video at the age of 1. I'm sure I'd love that. Now also on Twitter, you're all talking about the spookiness of today, which is of course Friday the 13th. Luke Brooks has wished us all the best of luck, tweeting, hope nothing bad happens today, good luck to all of you because it's Friday the 13th. And Matt Humphrey has gone against the day, tweeting Friday the 13th, it's Christmas Jumper Day, wearing mine to work at the local gallery, are you? And with today being the Christmas special, we would love you to send in photos of your best Christmas jumpers to Quays News so I can steal a few ideas for when I get mine. And keeping with the Christmas theme even, the pantomime Dick Whittington is taking place at Manchester Opera House. The performance combines fairy tale comedy, dance performances and will be entertaining the community until the 5th of January. Carly Foster has more.
Dick Whittington tells the tale of a man and his cat on an exciting quest for fame and fortune. Taking place at Manchester Palace Theatre, the show sees stars such as Jodie Prenger as Fairy Bowbells and Tam Ryan as Idle Jack.
Idle Jack is the light comedy relief of the piece, I suppose, the link to the audience. Where in Panto, obviously, you can break down the fourth wall by getting into the audience, where it differs from a play where you're just telling a story on stage. I suppose my role really is to get the audience involved, to laugh along with all the drama and the plot, but also, you know, to make the odd quip.
Britain's Got Talent winners Ashley and Pudsey perform dance routines starring as the main female role and her dog. The story of Whittington and his cat was first recorded in 1605. The lead male is Ben Fawkes, better known as Mr. Bloom from CBeebies.
Yeah, you get to play Dick Whittington, which is a story that most people grow up with, and it's a lovely role to have a crack at.
The show is expected to be a huge hit amongst theatre-goers and a family favourite. With CBeebies' Mr. Bloom starring as Dick Whittington, the show is set to excite even more children this Christmas. But as well as Dick Whittington and his cat, Britain's Got Talent Pooch Pudsey takes to the stage.
The audiences are fantastic. The show itself, you know, is kind of evolved slightly as it does. Yeah, it's been great fun. We've had a good laugh, and we're doing school shows at the moment. And they just tend to shout a lot of, especially me. They just kind of hiss and boo, and you can't really get the words out. But you know, they're having a good time. They're having a good time. I'm having a good time.
Carly Foster, Quays TV News.
That looks like a good one to go and watch. Now, joining me in the studio is our film review, Will Carlisle, for a special extended version. Now, Will, I hear that you've got the top 5 worst films of the year.
Well, it's top 5 worst blockbusters because, you know, bad films that can just come and go, but these are ones that cost a lot of money. So that money could have been better put to other projects.
This is unusual. No, you don't normally talk about the bad ones.
No, it's normally, it's this time of year we get some very good films. It's more the summer movie season where some of the more lowbrow movies can come out. But with number 5, we've got R.I.P.D., which is based off the comic book series of the same name, and it's basically Men in Black but with ghosts, and that's kind of the first problem. It has a very definitive lack of inspiration, and despite the money on screen, it doesn't really look very good. For number 4, we have After Earth, and I think over the past decade, we've been privileged to see the fall of M. Night Shyamalan, who's able to make Will Smith, one of the most charismatic actors in the industry, appear very boring. For number 3, we have got The Hunger Games Catching Fire, which I talked about last week, and that's very controversial. But for me, somebody who hasn't read the book, it just felt like 2.5 hours of nothing happening, just another setup for another sequel in the franchise. Just 2.5 hours of setup, which felt very unnecessary. For number 2, another controversial pick, we've got Star Trek Into Darkness, directed by J.J. Abrams, who is of course helming the next Star Wars movie, and because I didn't really like Star Trek Into Darkness, for me it doesn't really bode well. It's just a very convoluted mess of a series that was once venerated for brains and vision, and it's just got to get dumbed down in this fashion is for me very disappointing.
See, I love that because Chris Pine's in it. I like Chris Pine.
Like I said, it's a controversial choice, but Chris Pine and Benedict Cumberbatch in the movie are good. I just wish the script was better. But for me, the number 1 worst blockbuster of the year is one of the most expensive of the year, The Lone Ranger, which has been distributed by Disney and had Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer in the lead roles. And it's just pretty much a prime example of everything that is diseased and deplorable about the Hollywood industry right now. Just take any brand that you can think of, something that the audience know, and just dumb it down for the masses with a big budget and just a lack of passion for the original source material. And the production of The Lone Ranger was so shoddy during the making of that, the studio shut it down for a while. It's just an absolute mess of a movie. It's 2.5 hours long. It's a slog. And yes, the money is up on screen, but with so little of interest actually happening, it's just convoluted and boring, really. So I just can't recommend any of the movies on this list. Go and see a more independent, more smart movie this Christmas, even though you have The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, which is another blockbuster, but you do have your more Oscar contenders, such as Filth, which we talked about a few weeks ago. And the Oscar seasons are coming up, so it's the best time to go see a great movie.
Right, fab. Well, now you know which films not to watch. And now it's back to Jess for more what's going on making the news in Salford this morning.
Thank you, Kate. Well, our top story this morning, and members of the Transport Select Committee, HI, have said that construction of the HS2 high-speed rail project should begin in Manchester as well as in London. This is so the North can benefit from its effects straight away, as it will provide more and more jobs for the region. Manchester Museum of Science and Industry is evoking a sense of what it takes to live and work in Antarctica. IceLab is a new international touring exhibition which illustrates how architecture enables scientists to carry out their research in one of the most extreme environments on our planet. The exhibition features drawings, models, photographs and films, and it will be open until the 6th of January.
It's a really exciting one. It's got quite a kind of futuristic feel about it, but essentially it's about extreme architecture and science in Antarctica. And Antarctica is the most extreme environment on Earth. So living and working there has significant challenges, both in terms of living conditions and also sort of scientific development within the continent itself. We have had a fantastic number of people to visiting this exhibition itself, and in fact during Manchester Science Festival we had days with 900 to 1,000 people coming to visit.
In sports news, and Kate Cross, a Lancashire bowler, was called up to be in the England squad for the return test match of the Ashes. She'll play in the Australia match on January the 10th, 2014, much to her surprise. However, not too long ago she almost left the game behind.
14 months ago I was dropped from the England Academy, and that then meant that I had a winter off. It actually worked out quite well because I finished my university degree, so it gave me a chance to really focus on education for a while. I was studying psychology over at the University of Leeds, and it actually meant that I could start enjoying my cricket again. I had 6 months off. I then started playing in the summer for Lancashire, just played the season with them and started enjoying it again, started performing, and then that got me recognised and got back into the England Academy, and then I've been selected for England from there, so it's worked out quite well.
All from this Quays TV News Christmas special. We'll be back in 2014 with more news updates, and now playing us out is Alice Gasson, an R&B soul singer from Manchester, with Everything's Alright.
Winning streak, and I feel my heart start to race every time I cross the line. I can feel those eyes watching me, 'cause if I fall they'll be the first to open their mouths. Ooh, 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 ooh. And promises that wash over me, I'm holding tight to the knowledge of life before, and seeing patterns in what you do. And if a storm's gonna come, you'll be there too, 'cause you make everything alright. You make everything alright. You make everything alright. You make everything alright. As I was born to a family home where selfish ways were dismissed, always cast aside, and we would know through the good and bad there's only one who can map out a life plan. You make everything alright. 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 Hey, 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 hey. Ooh, I see those shadows step steps behind. There's only you in front of what I'm trying to find. Ooh.